Hello and heartily welcome at DSI. Now we want to show you a practice example of disassembling, cleaning and reassembling different couplers. At the top we have different flat types. This is the A, this is the tri-lobe or G type, that's the combi or M type. At the bottom row we have the standard Sankey or well type, which is the S system, the draft D type system, and the U type system. The procedure what we see here today is the same for all other systems. In our example, we use an A and S type. First, we use some gloves to protect our hands. Then we start with the A type, and at the gas entrance is an adapter which you can remove. If it is useful, then please use a wrench. At the adapter is a lip valve or duck valve, so-called. It's a kind of a non-return valve where gas can go through from the other side and not to the back side. Here you see the opening. Then we remove the handle. There is a screw. If the screw is fixed hard, use a screwdriver just to remove it. Pull out the screw, and the screw itself is secured in the handle. That means it's not possible to remove the screw completely in order to prevent the screw getting lost. Then you can remove the complete piston and the main sealing. This CO2 main seal can be cleaned with a brush. Please check the complete sealing if it is damaged all around or not. Otherwise, please remove the seal. Then the body can be cleaned mechanical as well with a brush from the inside, as well as the complete flange. And then you can as well clean the gas inlet and all other openings by using warm water and suitable cleaning detergent for beer couplers. Now let's take a look to the piston. Here in the piston is a ball and a retainer, and in a couple of other videos we saw that people try to remove the ball by using a screwdriver with a sharp spiky tip. And what happens, or what can happen, is that we damage the ball, and the ball is sealing the backflow of the beer in the piston, and therefore we recommend to use a brush with a covered tip, and such a brush with a damaged metal tip shall be disposed, and it's not good to remove the ball by such an item. So what we recommend is a brush with a covered tip, or the best is to use a pair of pliers to remove the captive or ball retainer, and then you can, of course, check the ball if there are damages, scratches, cracks or whatever, and if it's good, you can still use the ball another time. To remove the O-rings, be careful as well to not damage the O-rings itself, because that can cause CO2 leakers, which is of course very dangerous. By using a screwdriver, please be careful and don't use high force. Just remove the O-ring with your fingers. Be careful as well with the thread. The problem with the screwdriver as well is that not only the O-ring, it's as well about the groove for the O-ring seat, that you must be careful to not scratch that or damage that. Otherwise you can use a piece of wood or plastic or such an Allen key with a rounded tip. Here you can go as well underneath the O-ring and get it out of the groove. As mentioned, don't use high force. Try to remove the O-ring carefully. If the O-ring is disassembled, check both rings. If there are damages, cracks, or what else, otherwise dispose the O-rings and use new ones. If you want to use new O-rings anyway, you can cut them off the piston instead of disassembling them. And now we can use the brush to clean the piston from inside, from both sides, from the outside, to clean the grooves. And this is just the mechanical cleaning, of course, by using warm water and suitable cleaning detergents. You will get the best result, the best cleaning result. Let's now see how to reassemble the complete dispense head. In case of new O-rings or O-rings from before, what we checked, if they are still good and not damaged, try to assemble the O-ring without any high force, without rolling or bending them or stretching them too much. Be careful with the thread as well, and assemble the first one in the first groove and the second one into the second groove of that piston. Place the ball into the seat and push the captive or ball retainer into the seat at the top of the piston. Do not forget to grease the O-rings after reassembling in order to make sure that the coupler is working fine all the time long. We use and recommend different products. Here, for example, the Paralic GTE. Don't use just a fingertip for both O-rings. It's a food grade grease material. You can, of course, put the rest of the grease into the body. Then by pushing the body on the probe, bring them together. Then we assemble the handle by pulling the screw out of the handle, push it through the body. It's useful to push the metal sheet at the end of the handle then it's much easier to find the position of the screw. It's good enough when you hand tight the screw. You don't need to use a screwdriver. Then the main CO2 sealing must be placed over the piston. It's easier to have the piston in the bottom position, and then use the CO2 adapter. Please don't forget the gasket, which is an O-ring covered by a piece of metal. And here, because of the O-ring, it is enough when you hand tighten it, but we recommend to check after the assembling if everything is gas tight and otherwise. Now I want to show you the disassembling, cleaning and assembling as well by the example of an S-type coupler. Here we have different adapters on the beer and gas side, what we need to clean as well. For example, the double lip valve with spy hole, or the ball valve at the beer side. Here we have a decompression valve as well. We can easily disassemble the decompression valve and clean it from the outside, and after that we can suck the complete decompression valve in a cleaning detergent. Do not open it. There is a pressure setting what you will, let's say, destroy. Here we have the CO2 double lip valve connector with spy hole. Remove both non-return valves from the. It can happen that there is beer between both valves, just in case if the first one is destroyed, and therefore we have the spy hole in order to check if there is fluid, beer or beverage inside. Use again the brush if it is necessary to have a mechanical cleaning here at the gas side. Otherwise, suck them in recommended cleaning detergent like the decompression or safety valve. Here we need to disassemble the ball valve by using a rotatable probe. You see the probe is rotatable. That's useful if you have connectors at the beer probe when you want to turn around the complete line or whatever. Here use, if necessary, once again a screwdriver to loose the screw. Remember, it's fixed in the handle to prevent losing it, and then you can remove the complete piston to the top. Here you see underneath the ball valve the small two flat areas where you can use a very thin pair of pliers or a wrench. What we can recommend as well is to use a screwdriver or any other tool to unscrew the adapter by bringing the screwdriver in the notch at the bottom. Now we have everything disassembled. Everything is necessary to clean it with the brush, inside and outside, by sucking them before and afterwards in warm water and recommended cleaning detergent. To remove the O-ring, it's the same like before for the A-type. Use an Allen key or a tool without a spiky sharp tip to make sure that you don't scratch or damage the O-rings, which can be afterwards very dangerous by using CO2 gas. Or if you want to change the O-rings anyway, then you can cut them off. Here we have the beer sealing. Just lift it a little bit up out of the seat of the probe, and then you can remove it with your fingers. Here, check as well if you have damages. Otherwise, you push CO2 gas into your beer side while tapping, and that can cause foam in your complete system. That's the sealing for the ball valve. It has a different size. That's for sure easily to detect. Clean very carefully, and for all cleaning detergents what you have in your market, please try before with some couplers and sealings if the materials of the rubber sealings are suitable for that detergent what you want to use. Here you can brush the body from inside. In each opening, CO2 for the probe, for the decompression valve, or whatever. That's the main CO2 sealing, what you can remove by using a screwdriver as well, but that's not so easy. The seat is very tight, and so be careful as well to not destroy or damage the gasket. So that's not so easy. Please check afterwards if it is destroyed, and after reassembling, if everything is gas tight, if everything is cleaned, and in the last step cleaned by water only, we can reassemble the complete coupler. So we recommend to use new O-rings and all other gaskets as well if necessary. Be careful by reassemble the O-rings. Here at the S-type or D-type version, it's easier to install the O-rings from the bottom instead of from the top, where we can cause damages at the thread. Then we use once again a grease, which is food grade. Here we use the Paralique GTE 703 from Klüber, but of course you can use all other greases which are good for couplers and beverage equipment. That's necessary because there is a movement between body and piston, and beverage residues of beverages can suck both things together, and then we bring the coupler back, the handle back to the coupler by hand tightening the screw. That should be good enough. Then we reassemble the CO2 main sealing at the body. That's a little bit tricky. As mentioned before, there is a very tight seat, but after assembling 2 or 3 of them, for sure you will know how to handle it. To assemble the ball valve or shut-off valve, it's easier to have the handle in the bottom position and turn it around. Then reassemble the decompression or safety valve. Make sure that the O-ring is not damaged. And here, because of the O-ring seat, it's good enough to hand tighten the safety. Bring both lip valves or duct valves back into the CO2 gas connector. To retightening the shut-off valve, you can use once again the screwdriver at the bottom of the probe, and that's it. Don't forget to check for any leakers at the complete coupler in the end, and Thanks for watching. For additional information, you can visit our website dispensegroup.com.